The Joint Legislative Audit Committee met for a public hearing on Wednesday to discuss a recently completed audit of the Government Accountability Board. The audit found the elections agency was not fulfilling all of its statutory duties and that the staff did not regularly update board members on efforts they took to enforce certain laws. Kevin Kennedy defended the GAB and argued many of the board's duties were not carried out in a timely manner because it lacked the resources to do so.
Many of the recommendations in the audit report about things the board and its staff were not able to get done. Let me remind the committee that the 4 years covered by the audit report were one of the most politically tumultuous periods in any state capital in America. These extraordinary events forced the board and me to make tough decisions about how to allocate and where to deploy our resources. We had to set priorities and we had to be flexible.
Representative John Nygren fired back at Kennedy's explanation, however, claiming the legislature was never made aware of any major staffing or funding issues.
There's been one meeting between you and I over the last 2 years, and that was a request for dollars for promotion of the voter ID law. That was in September. Despite political objections to people from my side of the aisle, Senator Darling and I worked with Fiscal Bureau and Bob Lang to find a way to release those funds to you. Like I said, despite political pressure, we did that when it was requested. Throughout the months before that, there was never a meeting. There was never a request. We have another member of former member of Joint Finance on the committee that's on the committee. You're saying that's a staff problem, then why were we not aware of the staff problem?
Nygren also argued that the staff seems to be running the agency instead of the 6-member board made up of retired judges that was intended to be in charge.
In May 2008, GAB directed staff to revise its administrative rules. Not until July 2013 did staff submit a scope statement. In February 2008, GAB directed its staff to promulgate administrative rules to establish an updated penalty schedule, which is not currently in rules. I could keep going on, and there's a key word in each of that, and it's staff, okay? And you know the argument. You've heard people say it, that there's people that are concerned that we have a staff-driven model. The GAB was my very first vote in the legislature, very first vote. And I can tell you that my perspective and my desire at that point in time, and the way it was sold to us, that the retired judges would be able to give us some insulation from partisan politics. And it was our understanding that this would be more of a board-driven than a staff-driven. It's called the GAB, not the GAS, not the Government Accountability Staff.
Kennedy disagreed with Nygren's account, but admitted there needs to be more communication between the staff and board members.
This is a very good board in the sense that it provides exactly what you're talking about with trained decision makers making very difficult decisions, and they're the ones that are making those enforcement decisions on that. This report highlights something that the board has been very candid with me about, which is we need better information, and we're going to be talking about that.
Co-chair of the Audit Committee, Representative Samantha Kirkman, said she would work with other committee members to quickly introduce legislation solving many of the issues found by the GAB audit. For the MacIver Institute, I'm Jen Healy.